Managing your company's finances remotely is now more important than ever. With ScotiaOnline for Business, you can safely and quickly conduct your transactions and save on costs. Accept payments, transfer funds including third-party and wire transfers, view balances and download statements, pay bills and credit cards, make supplier payments, manage payroll, and purchase foreign exchange. Let us handle the way your business does business. Speak with a Scotia representative today. Call 888-429-5087 or email bnsj.businessbanking@scotiabank.com.
Good evening, customers. Welcome to the Scotiabank webinar, digital webinar. It's a pleasure to have you this evening. My name is Casey Johnson-Vaughan, and I'm Senior Manager for Small Business, or what we call Business Banking at Scotia. And I will walk you through this evening's proceedings. We will be having two phases to this webinar. The first phase, we will have Roger Archer, who is the country head for Bahamas. He will give us a open remarks and welcome, and just to explain Scotiabank's digital strategy. And the second part of the webinar will focus on walking you through a live demonstration of the ScotiaOnline for Business platform, which we offer to all our business customers, and Richmond McKenney will walk you through that presentation. So also a part of our team that will be here this afternoon to answer any questions that you may have at the end, we have Yvette Anderson, who is the District Vice President in Jamaica, and we also have Neema Raming Barker, who is the Head of Retail in Bahamas. And so Richmond McKenney is the Global Commercial Officer, and as I mentioned earlier, Roger Archer, who is the Head of Bahamas, he's going to be taking us through a welcome and also opening remarks. Let me just remind you of some ground rules that we have for this afternoon. Once you have any questions, we're going to ask you quickly to type in your message box, and we will quickly and make sure that we respond to them at the end of the session. Also, we will also put up on the screen just to remind you of some numbers and the contact email. If you'd like to send us any requests or if you'd like to ask us any questions, we'll be able to answer you off air after this webinar. We also have our business banking team who will be on standby to assist you with any questions that you have. So we want to thank you again for joining us. We look forward to having a very engaging webinar. And so at this time, I invite Roger Archer, Country Head, to give his opening remarks and welcome. Roger, over to you.
Hello, good afternoon to everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us today. I know we've made a number of changes on our family islands, and we want to assure you that we remain committed to the Bahamas and remain committed to providing banking access to all of our customers on each island. Continued investment in our digital banking platforms provide us the opportunity to provide you with most banking services to help you to manage your business and your personal financial affairs. As an example, online wires can be done from anywhere for business customers. It can be done from the comfort of your home. It can be done from the comfort of your office. And these online wires are actually safer and cheaper than doing wires in branch. Another example is customers who were impacted by Hurricane Dorian were able to access electronic payment platforms quicker and easier than customers who had to utilize the branch network. And they actually found it easier to access records as well. So what you will find is that online banking also provides you a good way to have a business continuity plan and be able to access services even after you've had a challenge within the respective areas. We've also made our online banking packages a lot simpler, and most services are actually either free or at a lower cost than when they're done within the branch. During the first couple of months, we'll also make night deposits free, and we'll also waive the fees for those first few months as you sign up. For customers doing personal banking, we'll be transitioning to intelligent deposit machines. We've actually started that process here in New Providence, and during the course of 2021, it is our intention to put in additional intelligent deposit machines on our family islands. This would help you to make payments such as bill payments, credit card payments, and loan payments using the intelligent deposit machine. You'll also be able to deposit cash and receive credit in real time for that cash that's deposited. It also gives you an itemized receipt, which displays the checks that you've deposited and the breakdown of the notes that you've deposited as well. We'll continue to invest because it's important for our customers to have access to banking on the Family Islands. We also have invested in our Scotia mobile app, which has a lot of features and a lot of built-in controls to help you to control the access to your debit and credit cards, and also to the level of transactions that can be done. It also gives alerts where purchases are made. Those alerts are actually done in real time and allows you to avoid unauthorized access to your account. I think it's important for us to reemphasize that Scotiabank remains committed to the Bahamas. We are committed to investing in our digital and electronic platforms to make banking easier for you and more accessible for you. We know this is going to be a journey, and we will continue to work with you over the next few months to help safely transition you to our digital and electronic channels. So welcome again, and I look forward to engaging discussion. Thank you, everyone.
Okay,
Casey?
thank you very much, Roger, for that very warm and very detailed presentation. And so we hope that customers, you actually do understand that we value, and at Scotiabank, we're putting everything forward to ensure that our business customers are able to do business seamlessly, especially during this time. So thank you again, Roger. So as we mentioned earlier, we'll be doing the second part of this webinar. And for this part, what we'll be focusing on is walking you through the registration process for ScotiaOnline for Business platform, as well we'll explain to you digital token versus the soft token, an overview of the different types of transactions that you can conduct on this platform, and also just to show you in particular, when you register for the first time, what are the steps that you will need to take in order for you to log on. So I'm going to now turn over to our next presenter, Richmond McKinney.
Thanks, Casey. So good afternoon, everyone. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how to log into our online banking platform. As Casey mentioned earlier, once you would have spoken to your business banking officer and they would have given you the necessary documentation, and you would have signed it and executed it, you would have received 2 emails. One containing your temporary secret word, and the other one containing your reference number. So in order to gain access to the online banking platform, you would need to go to the site, which will be bs.scotiabank.com. Once you're at that site, you can select near the sign in button. There's a down arrow where you can select business banking.
Just to be clear, also, if you're also logging in, say, for example, Jamaica, as Richmond just mentioned, you would have jmscotiabank.com. So for whatever country you're from, it would be the country's initial, which is JM for Jamaica, or BS as indicated for Bahamas.
Correct. So thanks, Casey. So once you log in, you'd see that there are some hyperlinks on the right-hand side that can assist you. But for right now, you would see we would want you to direct your eyes to the Register Now button. However, just to note, underneath there's a demo to the online banking platform directly underneath the Register Now that would also give you a brief overview. So once we select the Register Now, it would ask us for a reference number that we would receive from Scotiabank Online for Business, as well as the temporary secret word. And that email you would get via a secure via a secure email. So give me 1 second. Just let me pull up my email here. So be sure when we copy, you're not going to have any overview or overlap, that there's no space. You're going to just select just the reference number.
Richmond, we're just asking you to minimize the screen so we can see clearly your demonstration.
Sorry, were you able to?
Minimize the team box so we're able to see your item. Thank you.
Apologies. So with the reference number, you're going to select and copy and paste it in the box, and your temporary secret word that you would receive from Scotiabank via a secure email. It would prompt you to go ahead and continue your login. And in this scenario, you would then go ahead and create your username, create a password, a secure password. As you notice on the right-hand side, there are some requirements. And as you complete the requirements, you would notice that the X's change to a tick. Right here, users have the option to change the secret word, or they can enter the same secret word that they would have received via Scotiabank. So once we've completed that, you would see here now that everything is checked. And at this point, I would encourage you to download our digital app. As Casey would have mentioned earlier, we have both a physical and a digital app that can be provided to you. The digital app can be downloaded either to your tablet or your smartphone. What you would need to do is to visit the Play Store and search for Scotiabank digital token, and it would be a Scotiabank symbol, but in the colors black and white. Just give me 1 second.
Okay, so Richmond, I see now you have your secret questions.
Yes, I do have my secret questions up, and that's the next tab. And at this point in time, once you downloaded your token, it would prompt you to go ahead and select your secret questions and words in the event you would have forgotten your password. So
it's important to note, just to support you, Richmond, is that you need to remember these secret questions and also the answers.
Most definitely.
Okay,
each
so
answer has to be unique. Sorry, Casey.
Go ahead.
So each answer has to be unique. And we'll just continue. So as you see here now, once you would have completed it, it would have come back to you to either modify your user details should you wish to change it, and or you can just simply go through and register. Once you've completed, it would have asked you now, you can now visit the online banking platform. It has a hyperlink here now for you to go in and register and sign in, sorry. So once you've signed in, you would put in your username and your password. And once you've completed that, it would ask you for the token details. And this is how the website would look as once we've signed in. So once you've signed in, 1 second, sorry. System is freezing for me.
So Rithmond, you're putting in you're now placing in your password, your username, and the password is the one that they would have created at the inception?
That's correct.
Okay.
Just having a delay with my connection.
Okay. What is important to note while Rithmond is getting on is to ensure that you remember your secret word, and also remember your password.
I think we could also emphasize, as it says at the bottom of the screen, that we will never send emails asking for personal information. So that you safeguard your accounts, just ensure that you never respond to emails asking for personal information.
That's correct. Thank you, Roger.
So once you've logged in, and as Roger those would have, Mr. Archer would have noted earlier, that with the online banking, the aim is to transition clients from the manual way of doing business into a digital platform. So once you've logged in, this is the screen that would come up. And this is the dashboard here. So if you would notice that there are several tabs enabling the users with various functionalities. There's the information reporting. And in the information reporting tab, you can view all of your account balances and all of your account histories. There's the payment tab. And in the payment tab is where we would go ahead and create payment either by way of direct deposit. And in the direct deposit mode, we would be paying individuals as well as by way of business disbursement, we will be paying companies. So I would give you a brief walkthrough as to how it would look. And this scenario would just simply go ahead and create payment. We would select. Once we've created, select the direct deposit, we would simply select the business prefix, for example, would be salaries. We would select the account number that it would be debited from. And then we would go ahead and add a business recipient. Similarly, whereas where we can go ahead and make local payments by, like I mentioned earlier, which would be the direct deposit and business disbursement, There's also a functionality to do a business wire. And there, as we would have mentioned earlier, that there is a direct savings by way of either cost as well as time to facilitate these payments. So if you see here in the drop-down box, there's the option of, there's a business collection, business disbursement, direct deposit, as well as wire payments. There's also the option for an upload, as well as we can pay the template. So I'll just give you a brief walkthrough as to how we will go ahead and create the payment. Just give me 1 second. So in order to go ahead and create a wire payment, what we would do is simply create the payment name, ABC Company. We would select the effective date, the amount in which we would be sending, the currency, and any remittance information. Here we have the option to add intermediary banks as well as the recipient, the wire recipient. So being that this is a test account, a live account isn't set up here, but in this box, we would go ahead and just simply add the business account that's being debited so we can remit the payment. If you notice, there are multiple tabs here that speaks to, like I said, information reporting, payments, account management, administration, as well as recipient templates, bill payments. So the overview for the online banking would be that you have every functionality that you had manually. Now, from a digital perspective, you can pay all of your utility bills by way of the bill payment. And the easiest way to do this, what you would need to do is to simply go ahead and add your payees. So we'd simply go and manage payee. And if you note, all of the necessary bill payment merchants that are with Scotiabank Bahamas will be added to this list. So you can simply select any one of the companies noted here in this drop-down menu and add your account information here. Similarly, in adding the recipient, and a recipient can be both companies as well as individuals. And if we're adding the recipient, we're going to simply select the recipient type. For in this scenario, would be an individual, so we would be paying a person as opposed to writing a check. The recipient ID would be something that the company would go ahead and utilize to identify this person. So for example, if ABC Company is paying John Doe, a staff member, you could list this as an employee number here, or you can use this NIB number just to identify John Doe. While there are numerous boxes here listed, primarily those that are with an asterisk are those that are mandatory. So we can select John Doe's account type, his account number, the currency from his account. We will then use the bank lookup. We're going to select domestic bank, and selecting domestic bank, every bank within the Bahamas, as well as their branches, would be listed. So as a company, you would only need to have John Doe's You would need to know John Doe's account number, as well as the bank and branch that he would select. So once we select John Doe, the bank information would come up and we can submit. Just to note that there is no difference in cost associated with banking recipients that bank with Scotiabank, as well as recipients that's outside of Scotiabank. So a payment to someone that banks with Scotiabank and a payment to someone that banks outside of Scotiabank, there is no differentiation. The only thing that I would add would be the time in which they receive payment. Scotiabank to Scotiabank payments would be real time. So if we're adding John Doe in this scenario, we would simply go ahead and submit. And this now gives us the option to go ahead and check John Doe's information to confirm that it's correct. Once that's done, we will go ahead and confirm, and then we would go ahead and add our password and token. Similarly, if we are making a payment to a business, and again, the idea would be to reduce the amount of checks that we write, as well as the amount of wires that we send, because there's a direct cost savings for the checks. If you, depending on the amount of checks you write, you can save upwards of 75% if you transition your business online, as well as the cost of the time associated with the reconciliation of those checks, as well as waiting for those checks to clear. If we're doing this as a wire, so we're going to add a recipient as a wire, for an example. The recipient ID here for a wire transfer or wire recipient is essentially the SWIFT code. We would need to select the country. So let's just say this is someone in Antigua. We would need to select the account type, the account number. The IBAN account information here is referencing those companies that are doing business in the European region, and essentially they would have an IBAN account number. And if you have one of those, you can select this at this button here. So let me just pull up to show you how to add the bank. One second. In the personal bank drop-down box, as I mentioned, the domestic earlier, the domestic will list all local banks. And the personal banks will list all the banks that you would have created. So if ABC Company, one second, just let me go and add a bank for ABC Company Limited. So we're going to add JP Morgan Chase to our personal bank listing. And once we've added them to our personal bank listing, they would then appear 1 second. They would then appear in our personal bank. And at this point in time, we would just simply go ahead and submit again and add. Now, in the event something is done incorrectly, as you noted here, the system would go ahead and prompt you to let you know from a wire perspective what's required. As well, once you've completed a wire online, all of your necessary invoices and supporting documents would need to go to our support box, which would be BSC, that's bsbsc.customersupport@scotiabank.com. And they would also go ahead and give it a second look before the wire goes out. So just as a quick recap, from the online banking perspective, you can view all of your necessary accounts. You can make transfers in between accounts. You can make transfers out externally as well, within Scotiabank as well as outside of Scotiabank third-party transfers. You can create payments, and by payments, that would be either a direct deposit or a business disbursement or a wire payment. So the difference between the three would be a direct deposit would be a payment to a individual. A business disbursement is a payment to a company, local companies, and wire payments are essentially payments to international banks, while we can do wire payments locally. From a security perspective, if your account currently has two signatories or some special instructions, we can go ahead and edit to see who can approve, how many persons are required to approve a payment, who can create a payment, and then necessary limits as well. So once you are ready, we can have a direct training with you to show you how to customize your needs from an online banking perspective. So Casey, that's a brief overview of the online banking platform.
Okay, thank you very much, Rithman, for that very detailed presentation and live demonstration. I hope that our customers would now be much clearer on how to the process for registration and also the functionality of the platform. So just to quickly remind you of some of the key things, as Rithman said, in order for you to access this platform, you would have to complete an application with your business banker. And once that is done, the business banker will submit it to our processing team, after which you'll receive emails from Scotiabank. The emails that you'll receive will be a no-reply email. You'll receive a secured email. The secured email will have your reference number, and the no-reply email will have instructions as to how you set up the account. In addition, you will also receive another email from us, another secured email, which will basically have your secret word. So it's important that you remember all of those things. And just to say, with the platform, you're able to do many types of transactions. You would have indicated payments, which is paying your suppliers, or you can pay individuals. In addition, you can pay your staff members as well, or different vendors that you may have. In addition, you may also do transfer from different banks cross-current, you can do wire transfer or you can do third-party transfer, Scotiabank to Scotiabank or Scotiabank to another bank. And it's very important to know that we do not ask you ever as a customer to provide us with password or security information. We will indicate to you, when you receive an email from us, it's always indicating what service we provide and not requesting information from you, because we as the bank, we definitely have your information already. And so I just want to know, we're going to go into question and answer segment where I'm now going to be taking questions from some of our participants. Rithman, someone asked a question to say, I need to know how to set up my digital wallet. I'm assuming that's a digital token they're speaking about, and how to transfer from the external digital wallet to my Scotiabank wallet. Do you know what they're referring to as a digital wallet?
I don't think that they're referring to the digital token.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that the digital wallet speaks to something similar like the Apple Pay and the Google Pay.
Right.
That allows them to do the payments from that perspective. In terms of transferring and setting up, you would need to just have the necessary beneficiary accounts, and you should be able to facilitate that transfer from one account to the other.
Okay. So the other question is also asking, well, what I want to point out, they were asking, are you able to view your transactions made from 6 months ago or even a year ago?
Yes, so the online banking stores the history for up to 1 year. And there is an audit log as well. They can show you who created the payment, who approved the payment, and when the payment was sent out. So everything has a digital footprint that can be pulled from the online banking. And again, if there's a requirement for anything over 1 year, you can simply reach out to our support team and we can go ahead and pull that information from you.
Okay, another question was asked, what's the difference between setting up a payroll versus manually doing transfer to employees' account?
Well, if you set up the payroll, the benefit would be that you can simply go ahead and do it as a batch, as one mass payment. And the benefit of that is if you're doing it in bulk, a lot of times there is a cost savings associated with that as well, along with the time perspective. I know I didn't go through it earlier, but there's an option for you to go ahead and create a template. So if you have 5 employees that you paid, you can go ahead and add all of them to a grouping or a template. And by the time to go ahead and make that payment, it's literally just a click of the button. So everyone can go out in like less than 30 seconds, as opposed to doing one payment at a time, one transfer at a time, which can be a bit time.
Okay, thank you for explaining. Another question which a customer asked is, they're asking if this feature only for new customers, or can I transition my existing business account to digital platform? If so, how? They're asking about how much money will they save on an average per month. So I'm assuming that this person is not already registered for online banking, and so they're asking if they'll be able to. Our goal is that everybody who is on this webinar this afternoon, if you have not signed up for ScotiaOnline for Business, we're now encouraging you to do so, because this is the best way for you to actually conduct your business in light of what we know we're now experiencing a pandemic, and you'll be able to basically do your everyday banking needs on the platform. And in fact, what we have done over the last couple of months, we have revised all the packages that we have offered to customers. So whereas before you were paying a monthly fee, what we're doing, we have now offered for customers to pay a pay-per-use fee. And when you speak with your business banking officer, he or she will walk you through the payments. But in fact, I can guarantee you that we have revised the package to make sure that customers are actually now saving far much more than what they were paying before. And so that because we recognize the need in this time, going on using this channel, you would need to get as much accessibility and also be able to save while using the platform. So I would encourage you, whichever branch that your account is held at right now, please ask for your business banker, indicate to them that you would like to have your ScotiaOnline banking account set up, and they'll walk you through the process, and they'll also explain to you what the cost will be for the various types of transaction. Another question now, Rithman, is can all be completed over mobile banking, especially international transfer?
From a mobile banking perspective, there is a way that it can be done. The question would be in terms of the necessary controls required. So for example, if you have a digital app, you would need to access the website via the internet browser as opposed to the app itself. From personal banking, for example, there's the personal banking app. And the challenge with that would be toggling between the digital token and using the Internet Explorer on your phone or tablet. But it can be done. Yes, it can be done. The short answer is yes, it can be done.
Oh, can be done. Okay, thank you. Another question is, if I am already using the Buisness Online, do I still need to request this new platform? Already have the digital token? No. Right?
No, they don't have to request it, but it's always good to simply reach out to your business banking manager or someone from the global transaction banking team, because a lot of persons would have signed up for the online banking, have limited functionalities. So it's good to go ahead and review what access you have so you can ensure that you have all of the necessary products so you can make your banking that much more easier.
Okay, so the question was asked, so now we have to differentiate personal banking versus business accounts. The question was asked, can it be done for personal banking? You mentioned only for business accounts. So do you want me to take that, or do you want to answer what the personal banking app can do? Rithman?
Say that again? Sorry, I didn't.
So the customer is asking if what we have just outlined or demonstrated, if it can be done with personal banking. And so they're referring to the mobile app, which we have for retail banking. And I was asking if you would like to answer that question, or would you like me to take it for you?
I mean, you can take that. You can take it just that from a personal banking perspective, we do have to note that generally there's a limited amount of transactions being done when you compare it to that of a business, because the business would have a larger amount of activity from a cash perspective or cash flow perspective, from a payroll perspective, and what's not. So it's going to be that much more larger. So when we talk about the business platform, that's where the bulk payments will come into play, as well as from the online banking, as we mentioned, that there's a requirement for a token, so there's a dual authentication, because again, there's a higher level of security because the volume is that much more as opposed to the personal banking, where there is a limited amount of a daily value. Because I think from a personal banking perspective, the most you can transfer outside of your account may be like $5,000, but from a business online, the limit, it can be limitless. Essentially, it's based on your type of business. So the exposure is that much more, the controls are that much more, and as such, the functionalities are that much more as well.
Correct. So just to say, on the retail side, we recommend having the app, but the app, as Rithman would say, for business banking, it's far much more complex or larger transactions that we recommend and to use for business banking. For the mobile app or for personal banking, you pretty much can do bill payments like to your usual suppliers. You can transfer in between Scotia bank accounts and other banks as well. You will not be able to do wire transfer on a personal banking side. You will only be able to do like transfer between Scotia Bank or other commercial banks. In addition, you can pay your credit card bills online as well. And you are able to do view balances, and you are able to also do Recently we added a feature for paying loans. I think that is being revised again, but that also is another option that you can do on the personal banking side. Another question is, Rithmond, under what tab do you find the statements?
The statements would be under the information reporting tab.
Okay, thank you. Another question was asked, how do I get in contact with my business banker? In order to reach your business banker, it's important to indicate which branch your account is being held. And you can, if you call a contact center, you can ask for the branch manager who can put you onto the business banker. Or if you're going to visit the branch, you can simply ask for the business banker at that location. What we will also try to do at the end of this webinar is to pull a list together of all the business banking officers and where they're located and share that with you, so at least you'll be able to know who your business bankers are. Also, what I want to say is that at the end of this webinar, we have held previous webinars where we had live demonstration on how to use the platform for various types of transactions. So we have those links on YouTube, which we will share with all our viewers here today, all of our customers here today. So you can actually go and see those after. This particular webinar will also be recorded, which we will also share with you at the end. So you'll be able to look at whether you want to do wire payments, third party registration. You'll be able to see that in the YouTube link. Also, another question that was asked is, when I try to set up fund transfer, I'm told that there are no accounts available. What is the step to set up an employee payment?
If they're trying to set up an employee payment, I would recommend to utilize the the direct deposit functionality as opposed to a funds transfer. And if they want to use the funds transfer, they would need to use third-party transfer, because the difference would be funds transfer is limited to accounts in your particular profile. So if ABC company has 3 accounts, funds transfer would allow them to transfer in between those 3 accounts. Third-party transfer would be any account that's outside of ABC company. So that's where they would either utilize that functionality to do a transfer to an employee. But again, generally, I find that it's easier and quicker when we utilize the direct deposit functionality, because at that point, you can now do things in batches as opposed to one-to-one transfer.
Okay. Thank you, Rithmond. Another question is how to track a wire transfer. The person indicated they did a wire transfer 2 days ago. However, the recipient account has not been credited yet. So how do you track a wire transfer?
Well, depending on the first question would be, they said they did a wire transfer 2 days ago. We do have to understand that sometimes there may be some delays with the beneficiary bank, given COVID at this time, because there are some delays, unfortunately. But from a tracking perspective, there is no way to track it from the online banking. You would need to reach directly out to the branch, and we can go ahead and complete a trace for the wire transfer.
Okay. All right, thank you, Rithmond. Another question is, I already have SOFB and use it daily. However, I'd like some further clarification as to how the digital token app works. Also, can I transfer online from my Jamaica account to a USD account? So they want the explanation on how does a digital app work, and also can they transfer from their Jamaica account to the USD account?
Okay, so 2 things. The FOB, or the hard token, or the physical token, is what they currently utilize. The digital token works similarly, but the only difference it would be that they would need to download it to their smart device. The benefit of the digital token as opposed to the physical token would be that a lot of customers lose these physical tokens, or they may be damaged, or sometimes they leave it at the office when they need it. generally speaking, if it's downloaded to your cell phone, you would most times have your cell phone near with you. So it's more accessible to utilize the digital token. And that's one of the main benefits of it. But it works the exact same way. It generates a series of numbers and you would utilize it.
Okay. Also, can they transfer from a Jamaican account to a US account?
If they're transferring from a Jamaican account to the US account, yes. The question would be if those accounts are both within Jamaica. And if so, it probably would be a cross currency, so yes, they can do it. And if the US account is outside of Jamaica, I mean, more than likely they would need to facilitate that transfer by way of a wire transfer.
Wire transfer.
Or wire payment, yes.
Okay. What will be the options for businesses to obtain cash or access to cash in the Family Islands? So I'm assuming this question may be for Naima or Roger. What will be the options for businesses to obtain cash in the Family Islands? Roger or Naima, would you be able to take that question?
So, Naima, you want to go ahead?
Sure, okay. I'll take it. Thanks for that question. So there are a number of options, but one thing I would like to advise our customers of during this digital transformation and us looking at ways to continue to support our customers on the Family Islands. One thing we wanted to share with you is the benefits of using our merchant services or cash management services. I think Richmond did a really good job with going through some of the scenarios, but here are some additional benefits. And then we can talk about whether you still want to get cash. So the cost associated with transporting cash, storing cash, securing cash is increasing daily. So, we have many customers who sometimes call a security company to help them transport cash from one place to the next. They may have safes in their business establishment to store the cash, or they may even take a chance with storing the cash at home, which is not safe. We are encouraging all of our customers to, try and get used to doing a lot of your businesses from a digital perspective, meaning using your cards or encouraging your customers to use either their debit cards or credit cards when they come into your store to purchase items. We know that in a lot of instances, this is going to be a huge behavioral change. But if we continuously encourage our customers to do that, you will see, customers gradually changing and transitioning over to an online platform, because like I said, the cost associated and the security risk, if you sit back and think about it, it's really not worth it in the long run. And this is really the way of the world, not only Bahamas or Jamaica. You would see that all across the world, persons are looking at more efficient, more safer, more cost-effective ways of doing business. And Scotiabank, we are here standing by, waiting to help you transition to those platforms. Now, if you still absolutely need cash, ATMs will still be available. We do want to hear from our business customers, particularly those customers in Jamaica and Bahamas, where you may not have easy access to a branch to get cash from the ATM. We want to hear from you to understand what your cash needs are, because there are some options. We do realize that in some instances, you may have a business account with more than one signatory. So accessing cash from the ATM may not be ideal or may not be possible for you at the time. But we want to hear from you while we're still on the ground physically to understand what your cash needs are, so that we can arrange alternate arrangements to ensure that you can continue to sustain your business if cash is absolutely needed for you. So please reach out to us. Casey will be sharing the names of our business banking officers and managers. We'll also be sharing our customer care mailbox for you to send in those questions, particularly those businesses, like I said, who have no options of getting cash from the ATM. Once we're not there, we really want to hear from you so that we can make some alternative arrangements.
Okay, thank you very much, Nemo. Really do appreciate. A quick question, Rithman, going back to what you mentioned earlier as it relates to wire payment. If there are no challenges and the everything is okay, how long does it take for the actual transfer to be done? That's a question from one of our customers.
If there are no challenges once it's being sent out, the question, let me make sure I understand. You're asking how long would it take for the recipient to receive the funds?
Right, so
for us to send it.
Right, so they're asking if everything is well, and for the recipient to receive, how long would it take if there are no issues? So I send it from this location to another person. How long will it take for it to reach the customer if there are no challenges or no issues? A timeline, is it 3 days, 4 days? They're trying to get some clarity.
I would like to think that there's an SLA of between 24 to 48 hours. But again,
Yes.
we really can't control as to when the beneficiary bank would provide credit to the ultimate customer. We can only control when we would have sent it out to the beneficiary bank.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Rithmond. I have another question here for either Nemo or Roger. The question is, for Family Islands, will customers have access to night deposit once the branches are closed in 2021?
Hi, Casey. I'll take it, Roger. So, Casey, we are right now in the process of negotiations. The plan is to leave the night depository services on the Family Islands, particularly in the Bahamas, where we will be exiting. If that changes, we definitely will be providing our customers with ample notice and alternate arrangements, ultimate processes for them to get their deposits to us. But the plan definitely is to leave the night depositories there.
Okay. Thank you very much, Nemo. Another question is asked is, how do we get swipe machines to allow card transactions to be an option for parents to transact at our school?
Well, if it's a business, the easiest way would be for them to go ahead and speak to their business banking officer, so they can complete a request for merchant services, or they can reach out to us here, the GTB team, and we can reach directly out to them and provide them with guidance as to whether or not they would want a physical terminal in their location, or we can even guide them and assist them with setting up e-commerce, because generally that's the way forward.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much, Rithman, for answering that question.
Could we provide like a contact for those customers so that they can start that process?
Sure. So, Roger, at the end of this webinar, we normally put up on screen numbers that they can reach out to us. And also what we will do is each customer that has registered here, we will also prepare an email at the end to say thank you, and also provide the contact persons who they can reach if they have specific questions, and the email addresses. So we'll do that at the end of the webinar. Another question which was asked earlier, this is around the internet challenge. A customer has indicated that for some of the small islands that they do have issues with internet or accessing online banking, and they're wondering if we will be able to provide any sort of assistance, or they're asking how do we intend to deal with this problem when the system is down? Will we have someone like a local technician available to address some of their issues that they have? They've indicated that the mobile banking system has been down for the last 5 to 7 days in some instance. I'm not sure if Roger or Neema want to just state that.
Maybe I can take it. So at this point in time, what we do is that we actually provide to our customers Wi-Fi and branch, free Wi-Fi and branch. And we are exploring whether or not we will be able to leave that facility on the Family Islands once we have made the transition. So I think, we want to facilitate that, and we're going to explore even the Wi-Fi maybe close to our ATMs when we do transition. So it's something that we're exploring.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So I guess, Rithma, this question is for you. The question is, will I be able to make international wires from a business banking online?
Yes.
Okay. So I think that's a yes.
Yes, that's a yes.
Okay.
What I would encourage the clients to do, again, they can reach directly out to us. Because like I said earlier, a lot of customers may have online banking, but they don't have all the necessary services that the online banking provides. They may only have what they call small business light, which is primarily just viewing access. And it's important for them to reach back out to us so we can equip them with the necessary functionalities to make their banking experience that much more easier and smoother.
Okay. So there's a question being asked about what is Scotiabank doing to make it easier for a limited liability business to deposit cash. Presently, we have to join a line outside the bank. No ATM cards are available to us, and why? Roger or Nema, would you want to take that? Roger, if you're going to speak, we're going to ask you to turn on your camera. That was a request from one of our customer. If you're going to take that request, if you're going to take the answer, that question. So the question is being asked, let me just repeat. What are we doing to help our customers who are limited liability companies to do cash deposits? They have indicated that they do not have to join a line to do that, and they're not available. There are no ATM cards available for them, and why? Would any of you want to take that question?
Okay, I can take it.
Or Roger?
Yes.
Okay.
I can take it, case here. And that's a good question because we have many limited liability companies here in Bahamas.
Right.
Have been facilitating those deposits at our night depository or our drop-off box.
Right.
So what we have been doing is, reaching out to our customers. So if there are still customers, limited liability customers, whatever type of business structure you have, please contact us for us to help you, because we're not encouraging you to stand on a line. There is a night deposit drop-off box. It takes a couple of seconds just to drop it off. We'll supply you with an agreement and a key for you to drop it off anytime during the day, 24/7. So please contact us. Let us know who you are. We'll definitely get someone to assist you to help make that deposit process a lot better for you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Nema. And this is going to be the final question as we're close to the end. The question is, how will the Family Island customers get their new debit cards?
Okay, Casey, I can also take that one.
Sure.
So for our customers in Abaco specifically, where we currently do not have a presence, we are planning a trip to Abaco before the end of this year to provide all of our customers with their new debit card. And we have a good news story there, because they will be one of the first set of customers to receive our new MasterCard Debit Platinum. And it is a contactless card. So it's tap and go. And we hear the concerns of many customers who perhaps still in this COVID environment do not want to touch cash or do not want to touch a PIN pad. The tap and go card is the way to go. You can tap up to about 10 times $50 amounts rather than pulling out cash or touching a PIN pad. It's very easy. It's convenient. And that's the card that we have recently started to issue to our customers. So for sure, Abaco customers will be receiving that. Now, the other family members, like Andras, Georgetown, Long Island, we still have a physical presence there. So the plan is to replace all of those existing debit cards with the new MasterCard Platinum card as well. So we will ensure that all of those customers have those cards in their hands before we exit.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Naima. I'm going to take, this is the last question and then we'll close. One more question from a customer is, in Andros and Long Island, ATM are currently down, and they're asking how will the bank manage the ABM being out of order in a timely manner post January 2021?
So maybe I'll take that then. So we're actually working with partners to be able to service the family islands once we have left or once we have transitioned. One of the things that we're working on is having multiple trips to the family islands to service the ATM. So that's something that we're continuing to work through, but definitely it is at the top of our agenda to address. We understand the need to have those ATMs available for our customers. In addition to that, we are also exploring investment in new technology as well, which would bring new ATMs or intelligent deposit machines to the family islands. So it is on our agenda. We understand that there's a need for those machines to be up frequently, and we're definitely working on it.
Thank you, Roger. We really do appreciate. So we want to thank you all for taking the time to join us this evening. It was indeed our pleasure to have you here. We know that we have lots of more questions that you'd like us to answer, but what we're going to do is make ourselves available after this webinar for you to reach out to your business banking officers, or you can reach out to your branch manager, and we will certainly respond to your respective questions if we weren't able to address any of those today. In addition, what I want to emphasize is just to remind you that we will be sending you the links from the previous webinars, which would have now we're able to show you a live demonstration of how to use the ScotiaOnline for Business platform, which include doing wire payments, third-party payments, batch payments, as well as how to register and the registration process, including how to use the soft token versus digital token. And we will also share with you the contact information for the respective persons that you may need to reach to, for example, our GTB team. As you'll be seeing up on the screen right now, you'll see that we actually have the contact information for the various countries, that if you have questions, you can reach out to them. There's a phone number, there's an email address. In addition, we will also send you an email at the end of this webinar. We'll send you an email just to reiterate some of the things that we had promised in terms of the contact number, your business banking officers, and how we are able to be accessed for any questions, for any queries that you have, or just to basically help you to walk through this very, I would say, difficult time as we transition into moving into fully digital, and also to make sure that we provide for you the best solution for your business. We want to thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to Roger. Thank you for Rithmond and Naima for ably assisting us and answering our questions and doing the various presentation. I want to thank you customers for joining us. My name is Kesia Johnson-Vaughan, Senior Manager for Business Banking, Caribbean, North and Central. And just want to remind you that Scotiabank, we're here for you, and we will take the time to walk you through this difficult time, and we will ensure that our team members will be here to answer any questions that you need. Thank you again for joining us. Keep safe, and as we would say, walk good.
Managing your company's finances remotely is now more important than ever. With ScotiaOnline for Business, you can safely and quickly conduct your transactions and save on costs. Accept payments, transfer funds including third-party and wire transfers, view balances and download statements, pay bills and credit cards, make supplier payments, manage payroll, and purchase foreign exchange. Let us handle the way your business does business. Speak with a Scotia representative today. Call 888-429-5087 or email bnsj.businessbanking@scotiabank.com.